Hello, I am Walter Cronkite. Now you know the rest of the story.
The rest of the story was a different guy.
Yeah, from my awkward handwriting. It's a weird angle. We have lots of enemies in episode 154 of the Drunk Doctor Who podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Wherein we discuss the 154th story
of Doctor Who, the Silver Nemesis. Ooh. Today, I'm Hatter. This is Ola.
That's me.
Today is January 28th of 2025. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
Cheers. All right.
Wait, we did that last podcast.
That's okay. I'm going to celebrate it for as long as I can until we get to the next New Year. All right.
Every year's a new year.
Okay. This is a 3-episode story aired from 11/23/1988. Notice the 25th anniversary of Doctor Who, the silver anniversary.
Is 12/7.
1988.
So, was there a printing error?
Yeah, it looks like there's a small printing error on the back of this for that.
They thought it was 4 episodes.
Not exactly, because it says December 12th.
12.
But online, I think it just was supposed to be December 7th, and it says 12 here.
Huh.
Which,
fun fact.
Yeah, which can happen because when they do dates, they do day, month, year. Mm-hmm. We do month, day, year. So they may have taken the 12 for December and left the 12 for the day. Yeah, which was December.
It's a localization error, maybe.
Yeah, transliteration error. All right. This is a really fun serial. Like I said, to celebrate the 25th. All right. Companion, we have Ace. Mm-hmm. The antagonists are the Cybermen, Penafort, and Nazis. Literal Nazis.
Yeah. The Fourth Reich.
Yeah. So we've got, the Cybermen, alien beings trying to take over the galaxy and using mankind as just make more Cybermen. You have a medieval witch in Lady Penafort, 16th century witch.
Yeah. She's a character.
Oh, yeah, character and a half. And you've got Nazis. I mean,
all the classics.
All the classic bad guys. Okay. It starts out with a kind of a slow roll build-up. It's one of the longer times that we don't see the Doctor to start the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like jumping between the two timelines. We have present day, 1988, and 350 years ago in 1638.
Yep.
We see Painfort and Sir Richard, her boyfriend. Painfort and Richard sitting in a tree.
Yep.
And then they have this old guy, and I don't know if we ever got his name. The old professor dude.
No, the scholar. Yeah.
But it was like, oh gosh, what was that movie? El Dorado, the animated one. He's like, last ingredient's blood, and then he pushes him in. They used him for their time black magic potion.
Yeah.
Which is sad. He was going to invent airplanes.
Yeah, he's kind of a Da Vinci-esque character.
Yeah. Leonardo
da Vinci. All right. So anyway, they're going between 1638 with Penafort and Richard and the old guy, and they keep going back to the current day, 1988, in Venezuela. With the Nazis who escaped, lots of Nazis went to South America. They fled there towards the end of the war. Now the one guy, Herr de Flores, he was obviously one of the older Nazis who was trying to bring everything back, and there were a bunch of younger guys with him who were obviously descendants of the Germans who had fled to Venezuela.
You're seeking power over life and death through
everywhere.
It's kind of like through the Nemesis artifact, kind of Indiana Jones, where they're going and they're looking for the Ark and the Grail.
Yeah,
they're trying to. This was kind of the trope around when they're losing the war and they're trying to.
Two other good movies that included Nazis.
Or were they doing that throughout the whole war, just trying to look for artifacts and secret
actually,
weapons?
a lot of the
Because there's an episode in what's the one with the angel and the demon, or the fallen angel and the angel as the Doctor Who guy?
Good Omens.
Good Omens. Yeah, they had a Good Omens episode.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's a fun show.
Yeah, the first season's amazing. I didn't get very far into the second. The first season's fantastic. The first season's the book, and then they of course have to go off course when there's no more book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And much the way that happened with Game of Thrones, it kind of rides off the rails when you don't have a book.
Yeah.
All right, so the Nazis figure out the Nemesis is the name of this.
What even is it?
It's sort of a comet, that comes back around every 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and just like Halley's Comet comes back around like every 78 years.
Except it re-crash lands every...
Because the orbit was decaying.
Oh.
So...
Oh, it doesn't do that every time.
No, it was up there for 350 years this time.
How come something bad happened every time it passed by?
Because the Nemesis created death and destruction in its wake.
Which is the asteroid.
Yeah.
Which is living metal.
Not the asteroid, but the
core,
statue inside it is living metal.
The gushy inside.
Valinium or something?
Validium, yeah.
Validium. Alright, that's better than unobtainium. Okay.
I'll agree with that.
So, apparently, this lady Pinafort, she gets the scholar to figure out when the thing's gonna land. And he does, to the day. He's really good.
He nails it, yeah.
He nails it. And then, of course, she kills him to get the blood for the last potion. The last ingredient for the potion to do some time traveling. Because she has some basic knowledge of time travel. It's never stated, but it's heavily implied that she and the Doctor kind of had a dalliance.
Yeah, she knew all his secrets. And
yeah, well, she got some of the secrets from the statue. But the Doctor was the one who controlled the stuff, and why in the world would he make a statue of her if he didn't like her, out of that metal?
Oh.
Yeah.
So they were...
Yeah, well...
More than...
Right, it seems like they had a dalliance. Yeah, and she didn't like him, but I guess she was using him. So... The Nazis figure out when and where this thing's going to land, and they head over from Venezuela, and she and Richard use the potion to time travel 350 years to November 23rd, 1988. And they work that into the story very, very well. So you finally see the Doctor and Ace at a jazz concert. Yeah. Ace and the Doctor gets a little thing on his wristwatch. It's an alarm, and he's like, oh yeah, some world's going to end somewhere. And they figure out it's Earth.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, the Doctor, it completely slipped his mind from 350 years before. Ace was like, well, how can you forget something like that? He's like, I've been busy.
He has been very busy.
Yeah.
As we've seen, he had a few adventures.
Yep. So as they're heading back to the TARDIS, they're shot at by a couple of men, and you notice a little deal on their heads, and they're basically Cybermen.
Wearing the cyber servant
Yeah.
headphones.
Right, which we saw way back in the day. And they're wearing those. And they shoot at the Doctor and Ace with silencers. And I guess the jazz was really loud because no one else seemed to hear it.
What was creepy was they looked like they had emotion, which was... Normally the Cybermen suck out all the emotion, but they had these big creepy grins on their face when they're...
Well, I guess
they thought that...
Yeah, the new deals weren't as suppressive as the old ones. Because remember, the Nazi guy has it one later on, but he's still communicating fairly well.
Yeah, and then he didn't seem very affected by it at all.
Okay, so the Doctor and Ace jump into a small river, a little more than a creek, and they manage to stay in the water long enough that the guys that shot at them think they're dead.
Yeah.
So they leave. Cyber and Ace, the Doctor and Ace, then get out of the river. And they're trying to figure out what in the world's going on. The Doctor brings out this tape deck that he made for Ace that, to replace the one from that the Daleks destroyed. Mm-hmm. But it does a whole bunch of extra gadgety stuff.
As he does, yeah.
And he figures out that the planet that's going to be terminated is Earth.
Earth.
Yeah. So the Ace is like, what? The Doctor remembers about Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
So he heads back to 1636 to where Penafort is. And he's like, okay. And he looks at stuff, and there's the dead scholar, and he says, Ace, stay back. Ace looks like 17, but he kind of treats her more like 12, It's like, stay back, you don't want to see this. And he puts the...
Well, who wants to see a dead guy?
Let's see, and then a lot of this, there's a chess theme throughout this whole serial.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some very interesting scenes where you have Lady Penafort and Sir Richard walking through stuff, and they're obviously in 17th century clothing, and they're ducks out of that whole duck out of water kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
They get accosted by two guys to try and mug them.
What did they think they were?
Social workers. Yeah.
Because of the way they were dressed, or the way they spoke, or
possibly the way they were dressed. Possibly if somebody's outlandish, that's all they knew.
Mm.
But they also tried, the way they were imperious. Out of the way, get out of my lady's way.
Yeah. Those social workers.
Yeah. So the two thugs that tried to mug them, asked for money, and Sir Richard's like, "Money, you say?" And next thing you see them tied up hanging from a tree by their feet, by their necks.
In their underpants.
Yeah, with their clothes burning on a fire adjacent to them. It was great.
So Sir Richard's got some moves. He kung fu'd them, or...
Yeah, and so does Lady Penafort.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back then...
An arrow.
Yeah. Anyway, come to find out that there's a silver bow, a silver arrow, and the statue made of validium, but also looks very silver.
Yeah.
And all three have to be brought together in order to have the statue come alive. And then whoever does this, the statue does whatever they say, takes whatever form they want it to take, which is why he did, Lady Penafort or whatever.
Yeah. I'm still confused.
And they have control over life and death of everything.
So we have this comet with the validium inside of it.
Yeah, the statue.
And then, where'd the silver arrow and bow come from? And why do they have to be united?
The Doctor created it to separate the pieces. And so that there couldn't be enough critical mass for it to come alive fully.
Okay.
And he said as much, actually.
Can you just keep those things on the TARDIS, or one of them? He hit it and...
There's no explanation for why he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
There's also no explanation whatsoever in the serial for how the Cybermen knew that the Doctor and Ace were going to be at that jazz concert.
Or how they knew anything, really. Mm. Or how Penafort knew anything.
Well, Penafort got it from the Doctor. Or the statue, yeah. She got all of his secrets. And like I said, that's why you get the feeling they had a dalliance.
Yeah.
She, for some reason, hates the Doctor. Silly little man or whatever.
Maybe he broke her heart.
I don't know.
You think he ran off on her?
I don't know.
I think so.
Who knows? Alright. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Mm.
Anyway, so the comet has landed, and Penafort and Sir Richard show up. But the police have already shown up.
They beat him to it.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh no, they're gonna defend it." And he's like, "Well, look, let's just hide over here."
Yeah, they don't know what it is.
Right, and let's wait for our chance to snag it, because they don't know. They never been into the present day. They didn't know what kind of carriage the cop car was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't know.
He speaks into his hand.
Yeah, he speaks into his hand. What? Stuff like that, and she's sharp. She goes, he's calling more guards.
Yeah.
She kind of knows what's going on, even though she doesn't know the method of it. He is just absolutely amazed at the methods. Okay, then the Nazis. Okay, then some deals come out of the ground from the comet Nemesis.
Yeah.
And shoots out of gas, and all the cops fall down. We don't know if they were killed or just unconscious, but based on the length of time, they were probably dead.
Yeah, I marked them as dead.
Yeah.
This was a violent serial we have.
Especially with only 3 episodes.
Yeah, with 3 episodes, we saw 13 Cybermen killed, 10 people on screen, mostly Nazis, a few cyber servants, and then 4 more off screen. And that includes the 3 police officers.
Okay. Well, they kind of fall over and die on screen, but yeah. Yeah. Remember
also Mark, the old guy.
Yeah, he was off screen, but brutally murdered for blood.
So maybe 13 on screen, 13 Cybermen, 13 people on screen,
and 1 off screen,
Yeah.
Family show. Okay. So everybody's trying. Okay. So then the Nazis show up, and the Nazis. Okay. First, there's some army troops that show up to. No, that's the Nazis. They show up, and then they're there, and then the Doctor and Ace manage to show up, and the Nazis have the bow. And they put the bow on top of the deal, and it's like, ooh, it's waking up. It's waking up. But they still need the arrow.
Yeah.
The Doctor and Ace went to Windsor Castle to try to find the arrow. But the arrow had disappeared back in 1770, whatever, which is when Penafort snagged it and took off.
Yeah. She has the arrow.
Right. So the Nazis are like, hey, where's the arrow? And the Doctor's like, we don't have the arrow. Tell us where the arrow is, or we'll shoot Ace. And Doctor's like,
very cool.
I'm glad to tell you, I cannot tell you where the arrow is. Then the Doctor goes into an all explanation to Ace of how it all works. About a 3-minute exposition.
Yeah.
And the Nazis are like, you are very informed for someone who says they don't know anything.
Yeah.
And although it was Ace who said she didn't know anything.
Right, I noticed that.
Yeah. And then they're just about to shoot Ace. And a spaceship flies overhead, turns around, and lands. And Ace is like, oh, they saved my life. Because, the main guy's like, don't shoot, don't shoot.
Yeah.
They turn around, and Cybermen come out. End
of episode 1.
Yeah. And the Doctor's like, she's like, I should thank them. The Doctor's like, you might live to regret it.
Yeah.
She's like, who are they? He's like, Cybermen. Yeah. So and off to the side, you still have Lady Penafort and Sir Richard watching all this.
Yeah, from her perspective, she's like, oh, good, the cops are gone. Oh, wait, now we have all these soldiers coming in.
Yeah, she doesn't know Nazis.
There's robots coming in, and the Doctor, oh, there's the Doctor.
Yeah, she's like, All right. Now, 2 interesting things about this episode is in a longer serial, say this had been 6 episodes.
Yeah, it really moved at a fast clip.
Well, yeah, A, they moved at a fast clip. B, there were lots of moving parts. And there were lots of factions.
Yeah.
C, there were 2 obvious places to cut to the next episode. One when they dived into the water, or were being shot before they dived in the water.
Yeah.
And the second one was when they threaten Ace. But they don't... I
thought it was going to end there, too.
Yeah, they don't cut there. They wait for the Cybermen reveal.
Yeah.
And then the end of the next episode, is a different Cyberman reveal.
The cyber warships.
Yeah. There's no I'm in super peril right now, even though it happened a couple times. Mm-hmm. It's two different reveals, which is interesting.
Yeah. Both focused around the Cybermen.
Yeah.
Which are silver. I thought they would be the silver Nemesis, but Nemesis was the asteroid.
Right. Although it could include them as well, but yeah, the very specific word Nemesis was the asteroid.
Yeah.
The Validium. Any questions for episode 1?
Not a whole lot. The headphones, we talked about those a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And how the cyber servants were somewhat more emotional than...
Right, I guess they realized that them being absolute automatons wasn't as good as giving them a bit of thought.
Yeah, so, kind of like the same conclusion the Daleks came to, where they needed the human mind for their battle computer.
Correct, which was 2 serials ago, for that little girl.
Yeah.
And
stuff.
Okay. And the Doctor talks about how chaos and destruction are sown, into the when the Nemesis comes by.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, at one point he goes, 1913. She's like, the eve of World War I. He's like, yes. And then, the next one, 1938, Hitler annexes Austria.
Yeah.
And then 25 years later, JFK being shot, which happened the very day that Doctor Who aired, the very first episode. So he worked, and we saw also that same thing in the first serial with the Daleks, because they had a TV program on about JFK, and then it cut to the new science fiction show, Doctor, and it got turned off.
Yeah.
So twice in this 25th season, they worked in the history of the show, and this time worked it in very interestingly, being a matter of chaos from the Nemesis that he sent up.
Huh.
Very coincidental that day happened to be that day.
Yeah.
But they worked it into the plot of the show very much this time.
Huh. Neat.
Yeah. All right. Episode 2.
So we start with the shootout.
Yeah. Cybermen. Okay, so very first of all, the Cybermen are like, we're taking the Nemesis.
Yeah.
You got the Nazis and the Cybermen, and we don't care how many of them die. Off to the side, you have Lady Pinafort.
So
and
why does Lady Pinafort start launching arrows at this? She's lying in wait for a moment. She's trying to even out the odds for the soldiers to take out a few Cybermen?
Because the soldiers' weapons were not effective against the Cybermen, but the Cybermen's weapons were effective against the soldiers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she had a bow and arrow. And did she know that gold was a weakness?
In the first episode, she made the gold arrows and tipped them with poison.
Yeah.
Not the whole arrow, just the tip is gold. And then tipped it with poison. Once again...
And the Doctor said that was her calling card.
Right.
So it's just a coincidence that happens to...
But here's the weird thing. She got the knowledge either from the Doctor or the statue about the Cybermen. So she knew how to prepare for them. However, how did she know they were going to be there trying to get the Nemesis?
So the statue was in her tomb.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So she talked to it beforehand. But it wasn't in the...
Yeah, hold on. We'll get there.
Okay.
Okay. So the Cybermen... okay. So we don't think the Cybermen... We don't know how they find out about the Nemesis. Although...
Gold arrows, did Pinafort know about the Cybermen?
Yes. Apparently she did, somehow. Either from the Doctor or from the statue. So she does not quite know about everything, but she knows about a lot. But it's kind of implied, mostly by actions, that the Cybermen were there the first time in 1638.
Oh.
Okay? Because she knows to prepare specifically for Cybermen. Also, a little bit later, the Doctor says, oh yeah, it was like this last time, except it was with the Roundheads. Implying it wasn't Nazis, it was the Roundheads. British troops from the period. But he only says the one and not the other. So if you put that and the fact that she was preparing for Cybermen together, the Cybermen were probably there last time and the Roundheads, and they were fighting for it. And the Doctor managed to get everything away, but I guess later on he told Lady Pinafort, or the statue did.
Huh. Okay, and then we'll get to the statue a little bit later.
Right. So if this had been 4 episodes...
I was just about to say.
Right. If this had been 4 episodes, you would have had more time to explain things. Mm-hmm. And you would have had a little more time for going places and reflection. Because there's a lot of stuff not explained that you kind of have to pick up on.
It's like they wrote out this season as 4 episode blocks, and they all got squished.
And then a couple got squished down.
Yeah.
And there's like I said, Ghostlight in the next season is really bad about that. I'm just sitting there going, this should be 6 episodes, but it was 3. Mm. The last episode feels like it should be at least 3 episodes.
Oh, boy.
It's like boom, 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 boom. So anyway, the Cybermen said we're going to take the Nemesis. Yeah, we don't know when and where they found out about what the Nemesis was, although I guess they found it out a long time ago and they do this, but why in the world could they not have gone in and gotten the arrow themselves and gotten the bow themselves and taken the asteroid and who knows. They go, we're going to take it, and the Nazi guy's like, no, and they start firing.
Yeah.
The Nazis' guns are not that good against the Cybermen.
Nope.
The Cybermen's weapons are really good against the Nazis. And that's when Lady Pinafort starts firing a few arrows.
Just to kind of even out the odds.
Right. She gets a couple of them.
Because she says something about them letting them destroy each other.
Yeah. And there's a very limited number of Cybermen here. Like you said, a dozen, 13, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the advance party to go in. And they've got the 2 guys who shot at the Doctor and Ace earlier as, kind of the cyber subjects or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So she takes out a couple of Cybermen, and then she's like, okay, now I'll let them kill each other. You just sit back and let them kill each other. And she's really good with a bow. She just is really good with a bow.
Oh, great shot. Yeah, she almost nails the Doctor as he... Okay, so the Doctor goes in during the chaos. They're having the shootout, and the bow's just sitting there.
The silver bow. She's got a long bow, an English long bow.
Oh, yeah, the special one.
The fight breaks out. The Doctor and Ace jump into the hole.
It.
Yeah, and the Doctor's like, the case is there.
Yeah.
But he shuts the case, but he grabs the bow, and then they take off the Doctor and Ace.
And Pinafort, sitting back, sees this, and she launches an arrow at him. But by the time, the travel time gets to him, they're already in the TARDIS, and it hits the door of the TARDIS.
Yeah, and it stays on the door of the TARDIS.
Stays there. Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
Important later. It travels with the TARDIS through space.
There are times, the Doctor just travels, he doesn't go in space, but there are times when things on the TARDIS are perfectly fine. And there are times when things on the TARDIS will burn off. Mostly from what we've seen, paper.
But not the paint.
Not the paint.
Because it was pink and then they had to repaint it blue.
I still like that serial. Anyway, it's just so bad.
It's not my favorite.
Yeah. Okay, so the Doctor and Ace get away. Arrow thud into the side TARDIS. Then, the Nazis and the Cybermen are fighting. And finally, the Cybermen manage to gain control of the battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they have the Nemesis. Lady Pinafort and Richard leave.
The Cybermen also saw that the Doctor took the bow.
Yes.
But the soldiers don't know that yet. They still think it's in the case.
Mm-hmm. They grab the case, they leave.
Yeah.
The Cybermen take control of the battlefield. Okay. And this is where it moves kind of fast and kind of funny. Lady Pinafort is trying to figure out where the Cybermen are taking the statue. The Cybermen haul the asteroid into the the barn that's close by, this warehouse, big old warehouse barn thing, but it's empty. And then they take out the statue and they take it somewhere. The Doctor and Ace go to outside. Well, yeah, they go to outside the area and they sneak back in, and they're trying to see where the statue is.
Is that when they jam the signals with jazz?
But
that's when
that was that was earlier.
Oh,
okay. So yeah, they use the jazz tape that she gets from the jazz musician to jam the signals, and the Cybermen can't talk to the big war fleet, and it's just all this jazz playing. It's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
So the Doctor looks at Ace. And he's like, "You wouldn't happen to have made any of that Nitro 9 that I told you not to make, would you?" She says,
"No, not at all.
Not at all. And you wouldn't happen to have brought that with you, would you?" "Oh, I'm a good girl." "Good. Will you blow up that vehicle?"
So it's the cyber spaceship that she chucks a backpack full of Nitros 9.
Yeah, it's more like one of those the little landing ships, not the big one, but yeah.
Yeah, a little cyber shuttle.
So
and the Doctor peels off the two cyber supplicants,
dudes,
and he's leading them through the forest. Ship blows up. They get confronted by the two soldiers, or the two cyber servants.
Get confronted by the actual Cybermen, and the Cybermen are like, "Betrayal!"
Yeah, and they shoot because they left their post, I guess?
No, I guess because they thought they blew up the ship.
Oh.
Yeah. And Ace was like, "They died just because I blew up the ship?" And the Dodgers were like,
They
were already dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so Penafort and Sir Richard make their way to Penafort's old habitat again.
Yeah.
Because she is looking for the statue, and she figures they might bring it there.
She's using the arrow as like a beacon of sorts.
Yeah. And the Doctor does the same thing with the bow that he has. So he can use that as a beacon, and she can use the arrow as a beacon because they're always kind of pointing like magnets toward each other.
Yeah.
The Cybermen basically set a trap for her by putting it in there, because then she's shut off and stuff in this. It's not quite a cat. It's a big keep.
Yeah.
It's a big keep, and then that's her tomb, which she had made. So she's like, "I'm sure it's here. I'm sure it's here." And in the meantime, they see Sir Richard's.
His little stone.
Well, it's still nice. It's pretty big. But she's like, yeah. She must be really rich. She's like, "I had you buried here so you could serve me in the next world too." Yeah. It's like, because she's like, "What is this?" Yeah, it's like,
You want to know? That's your tomb you're standing on.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's disconcerting. So then the soldiers show up at the same.
Yeah, the Nazis eventually show up. Yeah.
How did they know to go there?
Because they looked on a map. Okay, so we do not know how the Nazis know about Nemesis or anything, except possibly as legends. Because the Nazis, to be fair, looked into all that stuff. They were wanting supernatural weapons to help them win the war, because behind the veneer for the Nazis of nationalism and Protestantism, behind that was, way in the back, behind a few layers, was hedonistic, almost ancient druidic or Viking worship at the core.
Yeah, they're wanting like relics to submit their
correct
authority on.
You've got to get back through several layers to get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they believed in all that, and like the Sword of Excalibur or the Holy Grail or what have you, and they sent out parties throughout the entire world to look for that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I guess from the 350 years earlier, it became folklore that those three pieces could never be put together or would destroy worlds, which is what they found in the basement of Windsor Castle when the Doctor and Ace went there to seek help, saw Queen Elizabeth II, were confronted by the military, and then ran off. Sorry we didn't mention that. Anyway, but it's revealed that is lore, and so that's something the Nazis would have looked into. It's not explained. It would have been explained in a 4-episode serial, but you've got to follow the clues, you know? Yeah.
So that's why... So that leads us to the Nazi soldiers showing up at this keep where Pennefort's at.
Well, first of all, Pennefort gets in with Richard, and then the Cybermen show up, and the Cybermen start to storm the keep. But Richard's shooting the arrows at him with the gold tips and the poison. While she's looking for the statue, because the arrow's telling him the statue's there.
Should be here. It should be here.
Finally,
of course it's...
Okay, he kills enough of the Cybermen, they retreat.
Cybermen,
Yeah, they retreat. So she figures out where the statue is.
He's gonna run out of arrows eventually.
Right.
But then they fall back anyway.
Yeah. Well, at this point they're down to about 5 men.
Yeah.
They lost they lost a few to the Nazis, and they lost a bunch more to Pennefort's arrows.
And their signal's jammed, so they can't call reinforcements.
Correct.
They're not in a good spot.
So, then the Nazis show up, and they're mostly decimated. They're down just a couple of guys at this point. The main bad guy and like one driver lieutenant kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't know if you're familiar with Das Vitarossung or something like that, which I think is a German piece of music or a German opera. Wagner did a lot of operas, and he wrote the music for it. But he's like, we are the Ubermen, the Supermen, and you are the Giants. And the Cybermen, there's only 2 of them and like 6 Cybermen left, maybe 5. Cybermen are like, we need no help from humans. And he goes, well, I don't know, and he claims not to know what their weakness is, although earlier he had picked up an arrow that had been shot into one of them and realized it was gold, and then he took out a bag of gold dust. And he's like, this will be handy. So he goes, whatever your weakness is, we're immune. So let me go in there and get them because they're keeping you at bay, and then we can make a deal.
But they're not immune to gold poison tipped
arrows. But then the main Cyberman's like, fine, let us take it, and we will split the world, and you will have your slaves, and we will have our slaves. Like,
divide up the planet.
Yeah. I mean, Nazis and Cybermen, who do you want to win? That's dark either way.
Two, bad, evil.
Yeah. So,
rock in a hard spot.
Yep. They go in, and they start firing bullets at Lady Painfer.
Yeah.
She is nuts. She is gone. She has let the pursuit of this statue and absolute control of everything drive her insane.
Mm-hmm.
She's very strong-willed as a result, but she's also evil as hell, which she admits in one of the episodes. Episode 3,
Evil.
Yeah.
So she can't find the statue. It says it's right here. Eventually she
realizes
it's in her tomb.
Yeah, they open it up, and Richard's like, where are the bones?
Yeah, he's very creeped out by the fact that there's the statue and not her actual...
But it looks just like her. Because it was made in her image, and that way they only had to pay one actress and not 2.
The doctor made the statue in her image?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're fling, we think.
Well, either because of their dalliance, or maybe he just... I don't know, but it's implied they had something like that.
So where were her bones?
She hasn't... Okay, that's explained later. That's explained later.
I don't get that.
Anyway, I'll explain it. Okay. I'll explain episode 3. So she had built her own tomb. Anyway, above the tomb, above the where the sarcophagus is, it says, "Death is but a door."
A door, yeah.
Yeah, with the V for the U in the old script, you know?
And she gives the statue the arrow.
Right, and the statue starts moving and grabs the arrow. This would have been another great episode and reveal had it been 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the statue starts moving and grabs the arrow. And then the Nazis come in, and Richard, he's not a coward per se. He's brave in a lot of scenarios, but he's very practical about their chances.
Rational, yeah.
He's like, guys with guns, we don't even understand. Here, take the arrow, or we're gone. And he grabs her, and they leave through that secret door. And the Nazi leaders are like, they're nothing. We've got the arrow, we've got the statue. And then, so he now controls the not quite fully functioning statue. Mm-hmm. And then the Cybermen come in and go, no, we're going to kill you.
Yep.
and then you basically have what seems to be a scene missing, because there's no explanation as to how or why they understand and believe that he has control of what the statue is at the moment. There should be there should be a minute or 2 minute scene where he explains them. He controls the statue. He can make it do what he wants. Don't mess with me, you know. But it just doesn't seem to be there. It seems to be cut for time.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Well,
is this the part with the gold dust?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. So anyway, they leave him alive. They don't kill him. You know, it's the how does he get out of that, you know?
Right.
Right. In the meantime, the Doctor and Ace are running around, and they get the Doctor's like, well, who are they beaming to? Where are they beaming? And they take out that tape deck.
They're enshrouded.
Right. And he's looking at it. He's looking at it, and Ace is like, there's nothing there. He said, well, this is where it's being beamed to in space. It's like, there's nothing there. And then the Doctor sees a chameleon. Mm-hmm. And he goes, they're shrouded.
Bingo.
He's like, they're invisible. And yeah, he clicks a few things, bass, treble, and stuff. And then you see thousands of Cyberman warships in space. And cut.
End of episode 2.
Yep. Once again, a reveal and not an imminent threat.
Yeah.
And the reveal's about the Cybermen again.
So episode 3 starts on a kind of a sweet note between Richard and Pinafort, where she is consumed by looking for the statue and taking the statue with her.
Right after the recap, yeah.
And then he pulls her away and saves her, and she goes, "You're a good man, Richard. You know, and
I am evil. Why would you stick with me? I've never shown you any kindness whatsoever." And he's like, well, that's what I do. And she's like, yeah, but I am evil. And he's like, we must retreat. We have no weapons. And earlier, she was starting to leave him in this year. Oh.
You need a refill?
Just give me some ice. We got the freezer. Oh, yeah. And then I'll grab my rum from in there.
Okay.
So, yeah, they have what is almost a sweet moment. Almost, except she's evil. And then they decide to start making their way back from her tomb to where to the place where the comet landed, and they've got the comet in that warehouse barn thing. And so they start making their way there, and it's a bit more real quick duck out of water stuff, because they have to figure out how to hitchhike, and they see somebody hitchhiking, get in a car, and then he tries it, but he's a very strange dress, and so it doesn't work. She finally it's a very short scene, but she kind of finally imperiously walks out into the road, holds up her hand, and the car stops, and it's a stretch limo with a middle-aged to old lady, looks like from Carolinas, possibly Georgia, but I believe it was the Carolinas. and she's wearing pearls and a fur and all that. And she's talking about her ancestors, and she traced her ancestry back from this area. And all the way to the 1600s, and there was this one lady, and it turns out that lady was poisoned and killed by Lady Pinafort because this other lady stole Lady Pinafort's favorite servant. Like I said, Lady Pinafort is evil. But it's a funny scene. Could have gone on a little bit longer. But once again, things were cut down for time. Should have probably been a 4th episode, but I don't know if the timing would have been good on the breaks. But, who knows. And it's shown very clearly the duck out of water situation, because they're saying things and they're misunderstood. Like, she's like, I researched my roots, and Sir Richard is like, you should do that to crops this time of year. She's like, and mostly Lady Pinafore is just saying things like, I will control all of time, past, present, and future. We go to our destiny, and just really, I am bonkers, cheese slid off my cracker years ago kind of stuff. In the meantime, cool. Oh, thank you.
So episode 3 is where I have all the questions.
Okay. Well, once again, this should have been 2 episodes,
Yeah.
Some things happened fairly quickly. I just discussed the scene with them in the limo with the Carolinian lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, great
destiny.
scene. Could have gone on a little bit longer, but I stated how 3 things are shown. The duck out of water, where they don't know what each other are talking about. Like, I'm checking on my roots, and he's like, oh, you should this time of year with crops.
Yeah, with crops.
Yeah.
That's good.
It shows how Lady Pinafore is just bat crazy,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gone. And it's just an interesting scene. Like I said, could have gone on a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. It's cute, though.
Yeah, cute. Same thing for the attempting to hitchhike scene right before, where he saw what the hitchhiker was doing. He's trying to do what he can. Lady Pinafore just walks out. Stop. Yeah, but you just get the obviousness that she's just bat crazy. Okay, in the meantime, the Doctor and Ace follow the bow directly to the keep.
Yes.
The Doctor has this plan, and he does this in the future as well. He's going to act silly, drunk, or crazy. In this case, silly. And he's going to do things while people are not paying as much attention to him because of that fact.
There's a bunch of stuff going on.
Right. And he's doing
like
things while the stuff's going on.
The Drunken Fist Kung Fu Master.
Yeah.
The Drunken Master.
Tennant does this as the 10th Doctor very well to a particularly evil family later on. It's really glorious. But anyway, so the Nazi guy's got the little deal on now. And he's like, this can't happen. You think the Doctor's going to just show up and give you the bow?
I figure they haven't programmed him yet because he doesn't seem changed at all.
Correct. Maybe it takes time.
Oh.
I don't know. It seems to be a modern take on that.
Maybe it's jazz music that they're listening to.
Well, I mean, the jazz music finally stops.
Yeah.
But literally, as the Doctor and Ace are walking up, the jazz music stops, and like, we can communicate now, because their tape ran out. So, assuming it was a 45-minute tape, that 2 episodes were almost in real time. The last 2 episodes, maybe the whole serial. But anyway, so the Doctor's not going to just—he's a formidable foe. You don't understand. He's not going to show up and give you the bow.
Well, you have a few scenes where they're both happening at the same time, almost.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
They're stacked because you have the 3 villain parties and the hero party.
Yeah, and they're all doing that stuff.
I wrote down confusing pacing.
Right, like I said, the last episode could have easily been 2 episodes. It goes at a clip. So the Doctor comes in. He's like, "Oh, have you met my friend Ace? Here's my friend Ace," and he's holding the bow, and the Cyberman goes, "Give me the bow," and the Doctor hands the bow off to Ace, and he goes, "Ooh, pawn moves pawn." Right, this is that chess theme that's going throughout it, and then he kind of pirouettes a little bit behind the Cyberman. He goes,
"Spin move."
He goes, "Oh, en passant," which is another chess move.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only move in chess where you can take a piece without landing on the square that it occupied.
Behind it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I showed you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor uses his umbrella, grabs the bow from Ace, and he pirouettes around another couple of Cybermen, talking about the chess moves while he's doing it. And the main Cyberman is just like, "Kill him!" And the Doctor goes, "But it's too late. Check. Illegal move, but game." And he shoves the bow in with the statue's Lumi arrow.
Yes.
And then
he just runs out.
Right. Then he grabs the bow. Well, the statue glows in such a way that the Cybermen and the Nazis momentarily kind of duck away from the light. And then the Doctor's like, "Run!" And he grabs the bow and he and Ace run. And then you hear this giant scream from the statue, and the windows on the 3rd floor of her tomb explode out. There's an explosion.
Yeah.
And so the Doctor's like, "I control the statue now." And
because the statue's going to follow the bow.
Right. The statue's going to follow the bow, and I control it all now. So the statue kind of ups and flies away. And the Cyberman looks at the Nazi guy, and he's like, "What good are you now? Your purposelessness has purposefulness. Yeah, purposefulness. Your use is ended." and he's like, "Kill them." And the Nazi he's got the gold.
Pocket sand.
Yeah, throws the gold at him, and that guy dies. And so we're now down to like one Cyberman.
Yeah.
Oh no, not yet. We're down to
3,
4 or 5. No, I think we're down to 4. 4 Cybermen. So the Nazi and his lieutenant get away. The few Cybermen that are left leave, and they're all heading to converge on the Nemesis. Yeah, that hangar farm thing with the Nemesis in it. Everybody is, including Pinafore. They've gone kind of back and forth between these two places today.
Yeah.
With a little stop at Windsor Castle. And the town of Windsor, where Pinafore and Sir Richard walk through the town and almost get mugged. So the Doctor and Ace take the they take the TARDIS, so they get to the place first.
Yes. Yeah,
and
fast travel.
Right. And the Doctor's like, "Oh, first they go down to 1638. They grab the gold." And Doctor's like, "You may need this later." Because that bag of gold that Lady Pinafore was paying the guy who she killed, but she didn't take it with her into the future. Why not? Who knows? And they take the plans for some reason.
Returning back to their own timeline?
Well, they went 1638. Well, I don't know. But gold would be good anywhere, you know? So the Doctor says to take the documentation from the scholar.
She's so rich, like she has the gold tipped arrows.
Yeah.
And those are expensive, and she's just launching those out.
Yeah.
Every which way.
Alright. So the Doctor needs to get there first, and the Doctor is like, "Okay, these Cybermen are susceptible to gold." And she's like, "Well, I'll get them." And she's got a slingshot. She kind of aims at the Doctor. The Doctor's like, pushes her away, goes, "Aim for their chest." Yeah. So
it's their Darth Vader control panel.
Chest, yeah. Oh, and there's a scene back in the tower I forgot to mention, where she is defending against the Cybermen as the Doctor and she are trying to get away. Mm-hmm. It's cut very haphazardly because once again the last episode could have been 2.
Yeah.
But she's going up the tower steps, and the Cybermen are trying to get her, and she shoots at them. Okay, you notice that those tower steps are going counterclockwise. Mm-hmm. Do you know why?
No.
For defense of the tower, the vast majority... First of all, that's why you have those steps, and that's why it's so narrow. So you only have one person there at a time. So you kill the front guy, and then you don't have to fight two at the same time.
Right.
Only one guy can be there. And the vast majority of people are right-handed.
Yeah.
So the right hand is on the outside, whereas the defender is on the inside. Shoot, and he's got a better shot at the guy attacking him.
Yeah.
So that's why they go counterclockwise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I was noticing that, and I'm like, they actually filmed that in that tower. Yeah. It was really cool. Anyway, she loses most of the gold fighting against the Cybermen.
Yeah, leaves the sack.
Yeah, she actually leaves the sack as she's retreating, which comes into play in a little bit. Unfortunately, like I said, it's very hectic in that episode, and it probably should have been the 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But the Doctor and she get to that warehouse barn thing. The statue shows up, and the statue is standing there. And the Doctor gives it the bow, and she's standing there with the bow and the arrow like this, and she's like, "Am I not beautiful?" And he's like, "You're very beautiful. This is one of the many forms I have taken. Others I have taken would be hideous to you." And Ace is like, "Okay, what do you do?" "Whatever I am named to do. I am named Nemesis, so I will be retribution." And he's like, "Okay, see ya."
Yes.
She runs off, and it's right at this moment, and the Doctor's programming a bunch of stuff in the tape deck thingy, and with the comet deal itself. He's programming it all.
Nemesis is asking about her freedom, like she's...
Yes, and it's heavily implied, not outright stated, but heavily implied that the Doctor has used the Nemesis before.
Yeah.
And may need to again. And she wants her freedom. And the Doctor's like, "Not quite yet."
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It is, actually.
And she says, "When?" And he says, "I told you when."
Yeah, but it's not perfect yet. And who knows what this was in this. Yeah. This goes back to that, 4 episodes we could get a little more explanation.
Yeah.
So much is implied here, but this is during the time when they're trying to make the 7th Doctor out to be much more than just a Time Lord.
One of the 3...
Right. Rassilon, Omega, and the other one. And they're trying to give him, once again, an air of mystery, just like in the first 2 Doctors. We didn't know he was from Gallifrey. We didn't know what he could do. They're trying to give him that air of mystery, a new layer of mystery. And they do it, they lay it on really thick in this serial.
Yeah. Pinafore comments on secrets.
And they did that the same thing at the beginning of the season with the Daleks. Mm-hmm. Because he had the friggin' hand of Rassilon,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how did he get that? How did he bury it there? How do you know about it? They're really laying it on thick with him being something much bigger than your average Time Lord. Mm-hmm. And they never come out and say anything, and they haven't done this yet, but in theory they could connect this to the Timeless Child down the line if they did it.
Yeah.
In theory. Which I hope they don't, because I hate the Timeless Child garbage.
So they haven't gone back to all this stuff that's referenced here and the Nemesis?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen the latest season because it's not out on Blu-ray here in the States. I am working my way through the 60th anniversary specials.
Oh, how's that?
The first one was horrible.
Horrible?
Absolutely abysmal. I much prefer the Power of the Doctor over the first 60th anniversary special, which I forget the name of at the moment. It was just that bad. The second one,
no good.
Well, it's a whole bunch of it's a whole bunch of woke garbage, and they shove it in your face. Okay, Have you seen Squid Game?
Yeah.
Okay, have you seen the second season?
What they've released so far.
The 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the rooms.
Oh yeah. Okay. There's a trans character in that. Okay. And this is the best way to deal with it. There's the trans character, and it's a good character. Okay. And the son of the old lady that ended up in there together.
Yeah.
The little lady's like, isn't that a guy? And the son's like, no, it's okay. It's a woman. It's allowed now. And that's it. Yeah. That's all you get. You don't get it shoved in your face. They don't beat you over the head with it. Mm-hmm. There's just an acknowledgement that that's a trans character and that's okay now.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's fine. And the character turns out to be great because the character is ex-military.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember the characters' names in my life. They're all Korean names.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, they're just numbers, and they may not state the name. But it's a good character. In the first 60th anniversary special, Donna comes back. You haven't met Donna yet. Mm-hmm. Tennant's back as the 14th Doctor, and they do like they've been doing for every male hero these days, bringing back the character from the character you loved, but they're male, so we have to deride them, talk down to them, say how bad they are, and then most of the time kill them off.
They do that with Tennant?
No, oddly enough. Well, they deride him and talk down to him and say how horrible he's not still a woman.
Oh.
Yeah. How horrible you're not still a woman, and you would understand, but you know nothing. You understand nothing because you're not a woman. And it's bad. It's really bad. Oh. But we'll get there. And like I said, they beat you over the head with it. Like, really, really, really bad. The entire stupid serial.
You think they're getting better about all that stuff? Like, Disney's trying to divorce from the politics.
Right. But this is from 2023. This is before Trump won the election. This is before so many companies decided to drop DEI. This is before the tides turned. The question is now, will the next series be any better? It was filmed at the same time. The two series they have filmed, the first one's been aired over there, but I would have to have Disney Plus to watch it here, and I'm not willing to do that. Yeah. The second one will be released over there in a few months. We haven't seen it. And we won't see it for a long time. But I don't know if they made that second series any better by reshoots, the way they've been doing for movies. They're trying to unwoke, you know? I don't know.
We don't have any Doctor Who news on it?
No.
Reshoots?
No, we don't have any Doctor Who news on it. Their Christmas special aired, of course, at Christmas, called Joy to the World. Don't know which way that one goes, but it's got one of the Dairy Girls in it, and I freaking love the Dairy Girls. Derry, really good show. Whole 19 episodes and 3 different series because you only get 6 episodes over there, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's got one of the Dairy Girls in it, and it's really good. But anyway, so that first episode of the 60th anniversary was really bad. Mm. The second one, Into the Wild World Yonder, was actually pretty good. Which, after the first one, kind of startled me. But it had much better... the first one had much better effects and stuff. But and many more better characters, except the stupid beating you over the head with the message.
Yeah. But
that second one didn't have any of that. Just one snide remark about Alon is an idiot would say E. But besides that, it was just a good story.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what the third one is. The third one has Neil... Yeah, hopefully maybe this next Monday. But the third one has Neil Patrick Harris in it.
Should be good.
It should be interesting, at least. I've been led to understand that it's a musical episode.
Oh boy.
Yeah, which we haven't.
You love those, like when they bring out the mariachi band. And...
Well, the last time we had a lot of music in an episode was the Gunslingers. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that wasn't great.
You didn't like it?
Well, no. Remember, it kept having that hackneyed music at the beginning and ending of every episode. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time.
They kind of do that in Breaking Bad. You don't really like when they do that in general.
No, it depends. If it's a comedy, it's much more acceptable. Yeah. And like one episode every long while, like there's an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that's very specifically a musical episode. That's fine. Just have your musical episode. But I wouldn't want it 5 times a season, you know? And
no, yeah, me either.
You got to have a reason to do it, you know? But apparently Neil Patrick Harris is just a hell of a showman. And I think he does most of the singing. So we'll see what happens. I think he's going to play it to the nines, you know? Right. Or as Spinal Tap would say, it goes to 11. All right. Anyway, I'm going to get my drink. The Cybermen show up after Ace runs away from the Nemesis.
Yeah, she's running up the counter.
Well, at first she's running towards the front door to check on them, and then they show up immediately and start firing at her.
So she's launching the gold coin she brought with her.
What she has left.
What she has left. She left the pouch of gold coins on the stair. Reached where it didn't quite grab it. They're on the scaffolding in the ceiling now of the hangar bay. And they go, oh, we only detect 1 gold piece left. And there's 3 of them that have her surrounded now. So she goes, yeah, well, 1, are you feeling lucky? You know, who wants to go first? So the Lieutenant Cyberman says, kill her, and well, he's the one that's next. So she launches it, hits him in the chest, just off-centered.
Enough, yeah.
Yeah, but takes him out. And then she ducks as the 2 other Cybermen shoot
each other, yeah.
It
was a good tactical move. Oh, gosh, that's full. Yeah. All right. Yeah, and then she gets away, and it looks like all the Cybermen are dead.
Looks like. But the one shot in the chest is... he has his death throes. He pulls out the gold coin that doesn't quite...
Kill him. You'll see that in a little bit, yeah.
Chest piece.
Oh, and the one Cyberman that she hits falls off and
that was a great scene.
Yeah. Coming down. That was beautiful.
Down.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so... Okay, so the Nazis show up.
when all the parties reconverge.
Yeah, okay, so if this had been the old days and it was 6 episodes, there would have been a lot more of the stuff going back and forth.
Yeah.
In this one, they pretty much get there almost immediately, pretty much every time, except for the hitchhiking scene and, you know, one or two.
Oh, yeah.
But there would have been a whole bunch of stuff going back and forth.
And,
yeah, like I said, it probably should have been 4, but, you know. Anyway, just takes a lot to follow as a result. Okay, so the Nazis show up. And the Nazis are like, you know, give us the Nemesis. We want the Nemesis.
Yes.
And the Cyberman... The
last Cyberman.
That's actually the name of an episode later on.
Oh?
Yeah. The last... the main Cyberman here who's alive comes down and kills the Nazis.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the Cyberman is like, alright, Doctor, give me the bow. And the Doctor's like, I have full control. In the meantime, right before all the parties converge, the Doctor tells the Nemesis to go up to the cyber fleet and destroy them all.
Yes.
Wipe out the entire fleet. And this is when the Nemesis is asking about its freedom, and it's implied he's used the Nemesis before, and that he might have to again. And it's, like I said, it's alluding on to the other one, because he has all these giant artifacts, you know, that help him with stuff. So Starman's like, give it to me. And right then, Lady Pinafort shows up.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have one weapon left, my knowledge.
Yeah.
And they walk in, and she's like, it is mine, it is all mine. And even the Cyberman's like, she's crazy.
No. Yeah, lost it.
I mean, the Cyberman looks at you and goes, that person's nuts, you know?
I like where they're talking about her when she goes to her tomb, and they go, is this madness? She is a human, is going to be driven mad when she sees her grave.
Oh, yeah, they talk about that before she goes to tomb.
They're like, oh yeah, she's mad.
Yeah, is this human madness? Yes, it is a weakness. or when Sir Richard is praying on the field and stuff. And he goes, "It's madness." She goes, "This isn't madness. This is England."
This is England.
So anyway, she comes up and she's like, "Doctor, you will give me the bow." Because she doesn't know that the bow has actually been already activated the statue.
Yeah.
And he pulled it away saying things weren't perfect yet. She's like, "Give me the bow." And he's like, "Why should I?" And she's like, "Well, I will tell your secrets as the statue told me. I will tell him about Gallifrey." And he's like, "I already know he's a Time Lord." And she even says, "Doctor Who."
Doctor Who.
And he's like, "Yeah, I already know he's a Time Lord." She says, "Well,
Gallifrey, Time Lord."
right."
She also says something about the old times and time of chaos.
Yes, yeah, she's implying that he is one of the old Time Lords, which would make him the other one, and that he was there for all that, which would have meant that the first Doctor was much older than we thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
So does that tie back into the Timeless Child and stuff? Or
God,
they,
no.
They don't ever bring this up?
You could weave the two together if you
Okay.
really wanted, but you'd have to work at it.
I wonder if anyone's tried to do that.
That's one of the things I didn't like about the most recent, the recent I saw the 60th anniversary special #2, Into the Wild Blue Yonder, was they canonized the flux. They didn't try to write it away. They kind of put a rubber stamp on it. Yeah. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
But anyway, so he's like, okay. He goes, we forget about the 2 Cybermen that were burned to death because they told the doctor
they're
that,
standing in front of
the doctor says, I'm programmed to do this, and you got to put the bow right here, and you would have come here, and that's exactly what happens, because he's playing 3-5 moves ahead of everyone, you know? So Lady Pinaffort's like, I will tell your secrets, and the doctor's like, okay, my battles are done, I'm up, Ace, we have to give up. And Lady Pinaffort's like, aha, and he said, the doctor's like, no, but I'll give it to the Cyberman. Cyberman's like, very wise doctor.
decision. Yeah.
And she's like, what? No. I will tell all your secrets. Fine, go ahead, tell my secrets.
Yeah.
And Cyberman's like, Time Lord secrets are of no use to Cybermen. We don't care. And so he's like, make it fly, Doctor. The Doctor uses his umbrella to poke a few buttons inside the comet thing, and it starts to take off, and Lady Pinaffore's like, no! And she doesn't want to be apart from it so much, she jumps into the comet and merges with a statue of her.
So what's that all about?
Okay, this is why her tomb didn't have any bones in it.
Right.
She doesn't die. She merges with the statue, which is yet another reason the statue was in her tomb.
Okay.
Okay, so you could say the statue was in her tomb as foreshadowing, or that it ended up there after what happened. Either way, I think it's the foreshadowing. But that's why she never had any bones in her tomb, is because she died elsewhere.
It started off in the asteroid, and then the Cybermen put it in her tomb?
I think so, yes.
And then, okay.
Yeah.
And then she merges with it as it's lifting off.
Right, and she becomes part of the statue and she's gone. Just gone. The main Cyberman is like, okay, we will watch as this comet liaises with my fleet.
I'm Walter Cronkite. Now you know the rest of the story.
Sorry guys, apparently I forgot to plug in the camcorder from last week and we ran out of battery.
Hello there. Welcome to this, the 154th episode.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Don't worry, we'll splice it together with the other part and make, of course, one episode out of it. Alright. Okay, anyway, we're almost at the end. So, yeah, like I said, I noticed it blinking, but I forgot what that meant. Running out of battery. Alright, so, the doctor turns on the magic tape recorder deck thing, and they see the Nemesis going out there, and it meets with the cyber fleet of thousands of warships and blows up and destroys all of them. And the Cyberman's like, that's impossible. And Doctor's like, you gave it my instructions. And Doctor's like, no, I asked if it knew what your instructions were. Which he completely ignored because I had given it better instructions. And the Cyberman's like, I will kill you. And Sir Richard, who's kind of been standing there watching all this, grabs that golden arrow off of the TARDIS.
Been there the whole time.
Been there for an episode and a half. Runs up and stabs it into the Cyberman's chest.
And the Doctor was totally willing to die.
Yeah, he said small price to pay for killing the fleet, you know?
I guess regenerate is what would have happened.
Probably, yeah. But Sir Richard stabs right there and kills the Cyberman. And literally, out of all the Nazis, all the Cybermen, Lady Pinafore and Sir Richard, and the Doctor and Ace, the last three standing are the Doctor, Ace, and Sir Richard. Everyone else is dead.
They're all gone.
They're all gone. It's not quite as bad as several serials we've had where everybody except the Doctor and his companions die, but it's right there.
Well, this one's bad because there's so many of them that are just dead by the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes we'll see 5 or 6 characters and then they all die. This is like 26.
But it's still not as bad as like the body count from some of the Fifth Doctor episodes with like 70 and 80. Yeah. Although, to be fair, every single person who had a speaking part dies, except the 2 guards in Windsor Castle.
Oh yeah.
The 2 guys that tried to mug Lady Pinafore and Sir Richard, and the 3 left at the end. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay.
And the lady in the limo.
Oh yeah, the lady in the limo, the Carolinian. Yeah.
Yeah. I like how she keeps encouraging Pinafore, and she's
yeah.
Sure we shall.
Yeah. We're going to our destiny. Sure, honey. Sure. I like it. Very optimistic and upbeat. I would have liked to have seen a little scene where they say goodbye, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Good luck storming the castle.
Okay, so Sir Richard's like, well, what am I going to do? I'm here alone in this time. And Ace and the Doctor are like, we'll give you a lift.
Yeah.
So they then take him back to 1638, and he and apparently his lady love come out, and he's like, we don't have this jazz you speak of, but and they start playing some medieval music.
Flute,
yeah.
Flute.
Yeah, and in the time,
some looting and fluting.
Ace is looking at the Doctor, but he didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
Who are you? Who are you? The Doctor's like,
later.
And it ends. End of episode 3. All right. Do you have any questions for episodes 2 and 3?
Yeah. Who is Doctor Who?
Who's the Doctor?
Who's the Doctor?
All right.
Doctor Who.
Exactly. Quite literally, if you go by the implications here, he may be the other one, but that's never directly stated. If you go by,
did they go back on that though?
They could, once again, like I said earlier, they could tie it in to the Timeless Child, but that's not blatantly stated at this point. Okay,
so that might be what.
Right.
So they never explained what the old times and the time of chaos was.
Do you want to truly know what the current canon is?
Okay. Should I not have it spoiled?
It's up to you. You'll forget by the time we get there. Anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Right. So the Doctor was originally a child, a young black girl, found by a Gallifreyan.
Mm-hmm.
Scientist lady at some sort of opening to another universe. Then that scientist lady saw the character die, fall off a cliff and die, but then the Doctor regenerated. The Gallifreyans had never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
So the scientist lady kills the Doctor over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
That's really dark.
Yeah, it is. Until that scientist figures out the science of regeneration.
Oh.
Okay? And you get to see the Doctor go through a bunch of diverse woke stuff, right? Okay.
Oh, so the Doctor is the original one.
Right. Okay.
The original regenerator.
Correct. We don't know what race originally the Doctor is. We don't know from where originally the Doctor is.
So he has unlimited regenerations.
Except for one possibility. Hold on.
Oh.
Okay. So the Doctor could have. Basically, it was upon the Doctor's capabilities that the Gallifreyans became Time Lords. That they moved up from those people living out in the wasteland to build the city of Gallifrey and live in it as Time Lords. Because you remember the people lived on the outside?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and they got all their Time Lord technology, which actually would make the Doctor truly fitting to be right there with the Omega and Rassilon as the third founder of Gallifrey.
Yeah.
Although this is, as of yet, not explicitly stated, it's heavily hinted here.
Well, it could be that scientist that was killing her over and over again.
Well, theoretically for that, the other one could have been that, but it would much more likely be the Doctor.
Ah.
Okay. Once again, that part is not firmly established. Then the Doctor goes through a bunch of regenerations. Eventually, probably using a fob watch, which we'll get to, taking
It's like a Horcrux.
kind of. Well, I don't even say theoretically. This is shown later as very explicitly. So the Doctor, at some point, who is this amazing being that comes from this other universe and has all these abilities, eventually places his essence into this fob watch. Okay? When you do this, you lose all of your abilities at this higher level, and you become this lower level that you choose. So at some point, the Doctor decides not to be this ultimate being and to just become a Time Lord.
Oh.
And at that point, we get the first Doctor.
So does he lose his memories when he does that?
Yes, all of them.
So that's why you have the journal?
Starting at that point with the first Doctor, yeah.
Oh.
But, so you become whatever lower species or lower being you choose to be. So the Doctor became, from whatever the hell this is, Space Jesus, whatever it is, somebody worth killing half the universe because they disobeyed you. We'll get there, that's the flux. Became simply a Time Lord. Then we start with the Doctors we have now, from the first Doctor onward. At one point, the 10th Doctor uses a fob watch again to become a human and forget that they're a Time Lord. So you've got two levels of fob watch here. And eventually the Doctor becomes the Doctor again. But then eventually the Doctor gets the fob watch. Oh God, I can't remember the name of their stupid organization again. From the organization after they're destroying most of the universe. But she doesn't use it. And has it hidden within the TARDIS. But that's why the Doctors are limited to the 12 regenerations, because at the time the Doctor, and is still, Doctor was a Time Lord.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and I don't know if any of that's changed in the last season because I haven't seen it, because once again, but that's where we are, and it's insane. Okay, any other questions?
Do we ever see Nemesis again, or Pinafort?
Not thus far. No. Although, I don't know if you would consider either Nemesis or Pinafort worthy candidates of being our one-shot bad guy for this season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we still need to vote on the second season, no, the first season for this Doctor, right?
I think so.
Yeah. We still need to do that. All right. Any other questions for this one?
No, I think that about sums it up.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a short vote. There were only 4 cereals.
Time of chaos.
All right. Yeah, normally we would have done this already. We're only 3 episodes past it. Not that big a deal. Time in the Ronnie. Good one. Let's see.
Oh, that was a good one.
Season 24.
Dun dun dun.
All right, and you still have that page where we have all of the Doctor's best episodes written down, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Paradise Towers. Hey, Lex lives. Rex
He did
lives. Paradise Towers, Delta and the Bannerman.
Okay.
Man, I miss the days when we had like 12 of these.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, when we get to some of the modern seasons, and there's only like 1 or 2 two-parters, and all the rest are one-parters, there will be like 10 or 12 on there.
Dragonfire.
That's the one with the dragon that they were going down looking for the treasure way down there, and it turned out there was the. It had Sabalon Glitz, and that's where Mel leaves and Ace comes in.
I still think I like the Time in the Ronnie better.
All right. See, I would make a case for Paradise Towers, but
That one was kind of goofy. So I think we can...
all right. What do you want to get rid of?
Delta and the Bannerman?
Yeah, I could go with that. It's fun, and I like the modern setting of Earth back in the 50s, and I like a lot of the characters. But to me, this one is probably the most forgettable. With this one, the only reason it's not as forgettable is Sabalon Glitz, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
You know, this one, although it did have some good characters. The guy with the bees.
Not the bees.
No, wrong movie. But all right, let's get rid of Delta and the Bannerman. All right.
Then we could also get rid of Dragonfire while we're there.
Yeah, okay. Short votes. Okay. These 2. Time in the Ronnie's good.
Both memorable.
And this is the one where the Ronnie and the Master get stuck in the spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And I like the companion puts on the act of... Gosh. Maybe it's less memorable than Paradise Towers.
This was the one where you had the creature in the basement eating the cannibal ladies.
The old cannibal lady.
Yeah.
That one was definitely memorable.
Yeah. Very
creepy too.
Right, and you had Rex and everything, and you had the different what are they called? You had the blue and the yellow and the red. What do they call themselves?
I like the superhero type guy. It's like they can open the door.
Rex. Yeah. But and you had a bin liner and fire escape. And yeah, I will vote for Paradise Towers.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay. All right. Time in the Ronnie is a good second though.
Beats it out.
All right. So write down Paradise Towers for season 24. All right. Trying to think of any Doctor Who news. I don't think so. Not since our last episode. A season was just released in Britain. We're going to have season 25, which is actually the season we're watching right now, released on Blu-ray on the 25th of February, which is going to be literally 3 or 4 weeks after we finish it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 3 weeks after we finish it on the 4th, hopefully.
What timing?
Yeah. So we'll miss it just barely. Let's see. And then one of the old serials, I think The Smugglers, has been announced as the next animated one.
Oh.
Yeah. Once again, they are plugging up holes without finishing any of the seasons of the first 6 seasons. So this is a 3rd season episode, right towards the end of. Let's see.
Whatever equates to more sales, I think, is what they're doing.
Pardon me, not the Smugglers, the Savages. Yeah, so the Savages and I could swear the Smugglers is coming too, but yeah, they're getting it down to quite literally, with the exception of the 3rd season, they're getting it down to right at every single season. The whole reason is to keep bringing out stuff and then getting to the point where it's like, well, we only need one more serial to finish this season. We only need one more serial to finish this season. We only need one more serial to finish this season. Which makes sense. You don't want to do them all and then leave the 3rd season with 5 or 6 missing serials and then go, oh, BBC goes, never mind. Yeah. It's not worth it. So they're literally filling up the holes there. Although I really wish they would finish Marco Polo to get the 1st season out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, eventually. You imagine they have to. That's a good one.
Yeah. But anyway.
You heard it here first.
Probably not, but okay.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right. Any other questions or news?
Nope.
All right. We will gladly see you next week, hopefully. Thanks for watching the episode. Yeah. Anyway.
Bye.
Da 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 da.